Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Suave, and today we're going to be taking a look at a light novel series known as Bofuri. I don't want to get hit, so I'll max out my defense. This is written by Yuumikan, illustrated by Koin, translated by Cunningham, and published by Yen. We're going to go over everything this book has to offer, but first, we're going to take a quick look at what this book looks like. Alrighty, folks, here we have our front cover featuring Maple. She has her nice little black and red gear and her shield. We got the title of the book here in the corner, and we got this cute little bunny down here hanging out in the background. We'll find out what that bunny is later on in the review. Here we're going to take a quick peek at the spine of the book. Very simple design here in the spine. And then we're going to take a quick look at the back. We got Maple peeking out here in the corner. We got the synopsis of the book, the Yen information here in the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and dive into the inserts here in the front. So in the inserts we have here Maple with her little starting stats. And we also have, I believe, we got the Hydra. Here she is with her Hydra abilities. Super overpowered, crazy stuff going on. Knocking out all these players. And we're also going to see her friend Sally. So here's her and her friend Sally hanging out. I believe it's in the hills, something like that. And last but not least, we're going to see the table of contents. So on the table of contents, we have 10 chapters plus a bonus chapter. So we have the 10 chapters being just a little under 440 pages, and the bonus chapter being an extra 40 pages. Alright, let's head on back to the review. So our story features our main character, Kaede, but you don't really have to know that name because she mostly goes by the name Maple. This is the name that she gives her character inside the video game New World Online, which is where the majority of the story takes place. And the only reason she's even trying out this game is because her friend wants to play with her together. Unfortunately, her friend is not really available right now, so she goes into the game by herself. And she's a very unconventional gamer, meaning she's not someone who really plays a whole lot of games, and so she doesn't really know the standard groove when it comes to playing these MMOs. So as you probably guessed from the title of this light novel, Maple is someone who doesn't want to feel pain, she doesn't want to get hurt, so she decides to use that one strategy of being able to maximize her vitality as high as possible. And in this game, vitality acts as both like health and defense. And so when she goes to create her class, she becomes a great shielder, and that's the start of her journey. So very early on, you get to see where this unconventional gaming comes into play. So Maple comes into this world full vitality, no stats into anything else. She goes off and tries to find a low level creature, and she finds this tiny little cute bunny. This little cute bunny obviously is just a computer NPC. It just tries to attack her by doing like a simple headbutt. It keeps jumping at her. But this bunny cannot do any damage to her because she decides to put all her stats into vitality. And Maple is kind of amused by this, so she kind of just sits there, maybe for an hour, maybe even more than an hour. But regardless, she kind of just sits there. She wants to see how far this bunny can keep on going. And it gets to the point where the bunny gets so exhausted that he kind of just dies of exhaustion. And Maple just lets out the cutest little cry, feeling sorry for this poor little creature. And this is the exact moment where the story starts to shine and you see what this game is all about. So Maple, she hears like a little game voice, she sees the game menu, and she unlocks a new ability. But I'm not going to spoil what that ability is, you'll read it on very early on. But it does tell you what the condition was to unlock the ability, and the condition was she had to be under attack by a creature for at least an hour, I think, and she could not have taken any damage, which is something that probably should have been unlocked at some later point in the game. Probably was not intended early on, but she kind of just did that, just sitting there letting a bunny attack her for an hour. So she unlocked this crazy skill, and now she has this monstrous defensive ability. And that really is what this story is all about. It's about Maple wanting to become stronger, and she goes around town, she sees all these people in their cool gear, these cool abilities. She wants to be just like them. So she goes around town asking people what everything is, what this game is all about. And so she takes in their wisdom, goes out, and her main strategy is still to just max out her vitality so that she can't get hurt. And when she goes out into the world, a lot of these creatures can't really damage her. And even if they do damage her, there's probably some sort of mixture of her being able to meet a condition in order to unlock a new ability, to gain new resistances, and make her defense even stronger than it was. And she just keeps getting stronger and stronger through her own ignorance and her own unconventional ways. Because if you've ever played an MMO, it is not the way Maple is playing it, trust me. And eventually a lot of attention gets drawn on Maple, because you actually get quite a few of these pages where you get this like message board full of anonymous players all talking about Maple. Maple's not part of this message board at all. She has no idea that these people are talking about her, speculating what kind of build she has, what her skills are, what stats she might have, what her weapon and gear is. And so all these people are speculating in the background while she's kind of just playing around and just having fun. Now, at first when I was reading this story, I was like, okay, how far can we go with this overly powered character right from the get-go? But very early on, you actually get to realize that Maple is not as overpowered as you might think. She is still very overpowered, but there are still other people out there who are even stronger than her still. And this is not really a world that is stagnant. This is not something that is permanent. It's a video game that is in the real world that people can play, and other people are designing it and developing it in the background. So let's just say that there are still active developers working on this game, and they might patch a few things every now and then. So very early on, the story is really just focusing on Maple, but later on, her friend that I was talking about earlier, she actually is able to get into the game, and she catches up on what's going on, and she decides to partner up with her friend Maple, obviously, because they're friends in real life. And so they decide to do this strategy and become a duo, maybe the most unstoppable duo. And so her friend is really much of a hardcore gamer, so she really likes to min and max her stats and all her skills that she gets. And so she's really the one that tries to go the hard route into becoming this undefeatable machine next to the unstoppable force that is Maple. And so they become this crazy duo, but you get to see how they train and how they come together within this game world. Now, this book was actually a very fast read. I literally took this book with me to work, and within 2 lunches, 2 days, I knocked it out. And that's because throughout this book, you get a whole lot of big chunky boxes that just tell you about the stats and the progress of these characters, all the skills that they have. And like I was saying earlier about those characters with the message boards, you get like 2 or 3 pages straight, and it's not just one section. You get those throughout the book, maybe like 3 or 4 times throughout the book, where you get these pages of these people talking in the message boards, and those texts are like very short sentences, very big font, very big spacing, so you can knock through those pages. And combining all that also with the illustrations in between all that, it was a very fast read. And even though this book is a little over 180 pages long, the real main story is only within the first 140 pages. That last 40 pages is actually a bonus story that the author decided to throw in to kind of flesh out the story that was already told near the beginning. And so you get a little bit more details in there, but it's not a continuation. It's just fleshing out the story even more, which is definitely appreciated, because I think when I watched the anime had a little bit more fleshed out scenes too compared to the light novel. The light novel was actually a very quick pace, but the anime itself actually goes through a lot of the scenes a little slower, has more dialogue with the characters, with all the side characters. You get to see more of the events that are going on. It's a really cool complement to the light novel. With that being said, we're going to move on to my final verdict. And my final verdict for this book is that it is a fun read. Honestly, it's nothing groundbreaking, but this book is still so enjoyable. Seeing Maple progress, being the klutz that she is, it's just a fun little palate cleanser between all the other complicated stories that are going on out there. Honestly, if you just want to wind down and have fun with a quick little book, this is definitely the title to pick up. And definitely if you're a fan of isekais and having a female protagonist being this invincible fortress, then this is definitely the book for you to pick up. Post your comments down below, let me know what you think about Bofuri. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. I will be bringing out more light novel reviews in the near future. With that being said, I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.